Vincent is an artist often remembered for cutting off his own ear, but this presentation of his passionate life puts that story into perspective.
Ah! That is it! That is it! My name is Vincent van Gogh. But you can just call me Vincent. I knew if my paintings ever got as far as England or France that they would butcher my last name in trying to pronounce it. So I simply signed all of my paintings with my first name. Now, there is a wind that blows in the south of France. It is known as the Mistral. It blows all day and all night. Not just for days and days, but for weeks and weeks. It is why they say there are so many mad people in the south of France. Well, it's driving me crazy here today. Keeps blowing over my canvas. I have to stake it down to the ground. Now, the children of Arles, they used to make fun of me for painting with candles in my hat in the middle of the night. But how else is one to capture such effects as this? Starry nights. Well, this wind is getting so bad, I think I'm going to have to go in anyhow. When I go back to my apartment, I can work on some other kind of painting, such as, well, perhaps a still life, or maybe I can work on copying a famous work of art, making my own by painting it in my own style. Or perhaps I could work on a still life. No, a self-portrait. That's what I think I'm going to do here tonight. Self-portrait.
The Vincent performance shows the intelligence behind the mad artist, that his madness was brief, but his tenderness and love were constant.
Here we go. Turn on the lights. Ah, very good. Now, a self-portrait. Now, if ever I get tired of painting my own self-portrait, late at night when I do get tired, I end the day by always writing letters. It's a good idea. I wrote letters, lots of letters, to my brother. I used to always begin, here, let me show you a picture of my brother. This is my brother Taylor. I used to always begin these letters, my dear brother Taylor, we must always remain good friends. Let us have as few secrets between us as possible. Brothers should not have any. Try to be patient and gentle. So I went there and set myself up as a minister. Well, I couldn't exactly preach to these people wearing fancy city clothes, so I gave all my fancy clothes away and I wore peasant clothes instead. Then instead of renting a room in a house, I decided to rent a hut and sleep on the straw on the dirt floor of that hut, so that I would not be living any more fancifully than the poor people I was trying to help. Well, when my parents found out how I was living, they threatened to cut me off. When the church found out how I was working, they cut me off completely. These hypocrites, they don't understand. How are you to help people if you hold yourselves above them? Well, I didn't fit in all that well with the peasant people either. And I wrote letters to my brother. I said, I am a man of passions, capable of doing more or less foolish things, for which afterwards I am sorry, more or less. But am I to consider myself to be a dangerous man, incapable of anything? I don't think so. But the problem is to take those very self-same passions and try as hard as you can to put them to good use. That's what I thought about. I wrote to my brother. I said, you could certainly understand this. You see, to name one of the passions, I have an absolutely irresistible passion for books. I want to read, to study, if you like, almost as much as I want to eat my bread. Is there anyone out there? Some of you read and forget to eat meals because you're reading so much? Me too, me too. And then I said to my brother, you can very well understand this because in other surroundings, in the surroundings of pictures and works of art. You know how I had an absolutely violent passion for them, reaching the highest pitch of enthusiasm. And now, I am not sorry about it, because now living here in the Borinage, in the poorest area of all Europe, I am often homesick for the land of pictures. How rich art is. If one can only remember what one has seen, one is never without food for thought or truly lonely, never alone. So I decided to become an artist. I came back home to Holland and announced this to my parents, and they were disgusted. You see, I see my role in the family as a big, rough, shaggy dog who frequently comes into their spotless house with wet, muddy paws. I was more welcome out in the wilderness than I was back in my own family's house. So I told them, I will choose to be that dog which I mentioned. I will be poor. I will be a painter. I simply want to live in the midst of nature and paint. Well, my parents did not understand this, but my brother, he continued to support me. That's right. So I wrote to him, and I told him, here, this is what I look like when I'm at this age. I told him, I want you to understand clearly my conception of art. I said to him, what I want and I aim at is confoundedly difficult, and yet I don't think that I aim too high. I want to do drawings which touch some people. Either in figures or landscape, I should wish to express not sweet sadness, but serious, serious sorrow. I want people to be able to say of my works, he feels tenderly, he feels deeply. And notwithstanding my roughness, perhaps even because of it, what am I in most people's eyes? I am a nobody, the lowest of the low, a person who has no position in society and never will have. Well, very well then. It is my ambition to show what is in the heart of such a nobody. And this is my ambition, which in spite of everything is founded less on anger than on love. This painting is called The Potato Eaters. I painted this when I was living in Holland. I had some neighbors pose for it. I want you to see it in all of its quietness. How do you like it? Now, do you see that it looks like a warm family all around the table? These people have dug these very potatoes that they grew out of the ground that they're eating today with their hands. This painting, I wanted to show the nobility of manual work. I wanted to show that these people had honestly earned their food. How many of you have grown your own food in your garden? Have you ever grown your own food? Did it taste better than anything you bought in the grocery store? Good. That is what this painting is all about. How these people have honestly earned their food and are very noble people for having done that. Also, it looks like a warm family nest, right? The kind of family that I did not have because my parents were so much concerned with other things. Well, we know it was not epilepsy today. You know that. But at the time, that's what they thought it was, because it would come and it would go. It would come and it would go. I was not mad the whole time. And when I was myself, it was for longer periods of time. The madness lasted a very short amount of time. Oh, you get it? All right, ready? Everyone is going to be doing this all at once. Are you ready? On your marks, get set, go!
Vincent's painting put remarkable energy into a simple still life. In his very short career, he produced 879 paintings and set the stage for all the modern art movements that followed.
Mountains higher! Let's keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Violent, very violent. Higher, yes, that's it. Now, I've been working on a self-portrait. Would you like to see how well I've been doing on the self-portrait over here? Let me show you. I was trying to paint this for you. Of course, I talk too much, but here you go. I started just painting the yellows and the blues in the painting. Then I started to add some of the oranges. And then I start to add some of the reds. And then I add in some of the browns. And finally, I have the finished painting to show you right here. How do you like it? You can find this painting in a museum in Detroit called the Detroit Institute of Art. It's much smaller than this copy I did of it here. Now I want to say goodbye to you in the way that I signed off on all of my letters. A warm handshake in thought from your dear friend, Vincent.